So our video this week shows the pumpkin plants and our celery growing very nicely. Look how big the leaves are. I started a second container of celery so you can see it. But these are really nice and big leaves on the pumpkin plants. They're growing well. Our grass, on the other hand, since I haven't cut it, is not doing very well. I also started some lettuce, romaine lettuce. See, I cut about an inch off the bottom of a bunch of lettuce and again put it in water. And we're going to see that grow. Now, our fennel got too big for our small brown container. So as you can see, I transplanted the 4 biggest fennel plants into another pot for it to grow. Now, going around the garden, you can see I have some plants called Lily of the Valley coming up. Those are nice flowers. And next to it, I showed you the other week, our plant called a stilby. Now last week, they were just tiny little brown pieces like this. This week, you can see there's 3 plants of them, and they're growing very nicely. And if you remember, it's got covered, but there you go. There's a whole bunch more under here. Next to that, last week, I didn't have these flowers up, but these are called bleeding hearts. And the flowers have come through, and they're a beautiful pink color. As I move around a little bit, you'll see there's our raspberries growing again. And our blackberries. The blackberry bushes have quite a bit of green on them, you can see. And here's a nice surprise that you didn't see the other week. This is a blueberry bush. And as I pull away the leaves that we put around it, you can see that that blueberry bush has come up. And we've got some flowers here, so we should get some blueberries this year from the blueberry bush. Now, we saw the mint last week. You can see the mint has gotten a lot bigger. And you can see that our apple tree has sprouted its leaves and the white flowers that come on it. So you'll see we can have a whole lot of apples later this summer. Now the azalea is still blooming its purple flowers. I'm going to go around the front of the house. Oh look, a crow just flew away. And I told you about our peonies. There, the peonies have come up a lot more. We also have some dandelions in the back that I do have to pull out. But our peonies are getting bigger. You can see the leaves have started to open instead of being closed like they were last week. I also have some pots on my front stairs, and you can see that some of those plants have come back. That's a flower. Over here, these are the bleeding hearts that you saw in the back. You can see their flowers are starting to come in. Some of these have white flowers, but they're not quite ready. And I have my hydrangea, which is coming back up, but it's a small plant, so it'll take a while. There's another bleeding heart. Looks like somebody, probably a deer, came and ate some of it. You can see the broken stems right there. And we have our lilac bush, which has more leaves on it, and you can see more purple shoots coming up, which will have the flowers on them. As we get to this garden, you'll see our daffodils have died. They're a very early flower, so the greens will still be here, but the flowers won't. I showed you the buds on these lilies. These will grow very, very tall. You can see I have 1, 2, 3 growing here. And we have what's called mountain pinks. They are purple though, that sprouted all their flowers this week. And they go nicely with my hyacinth that are growing. You'll also see I have another plant here that you didn't see last week. If I can get rid of the grass, called a candy tuft. And that's a white little flower. And they finally come up. And this, I have to pull the stems out. This is lemon balm. This came up this week with all the rain we had. And it'll grow these long stems that have the flowers. But it's called lemon balm. It smells a little bit like lemon and the bees like it. Over here, I have more of those lilies. And you see a whole bunch are coming in here. And next to that is this little green plant. And these little green plants that are all in here are called coreopsis. And they are coming up because of all the rain. Now there's another plant here. It's just coming through. It's a tiny little thing. Let's see if I can get over there and show it to you. These little plants right here. Those are called, there's some more there, Chinese balloon flowers. And they'll come up with a nice purple flower in the end. That's my side garden. As we enter my vegetable garden, you see we've bought all the dirt we need. We have some leeks, which are like scallions and onions. So we have some leeks that are growing, coming in. I don't know what else we have that might be coming up. Our Brussels sprouts are still coming in. You can see the stalk here with all of them starting to sprout. Same thing in here. You can see all the little Brussels sprouts coming in, and they should be ready. You'll see my pear tree over here. The pear tree is like the apple tree. It comes in with these pretty white flowers. And more Brussels sprouts are coming in. Now, we got these flowers. They weren't coming in last week. They just came up. These are called hosta. You probably have seen these. They grow big, tall stems with purple flowers. But they're coming in the backyard. I have a whole bunch of them around this big tree. There's some more of them. They get a little more light on this side, so they grow a little bit faster over here. All right, now the side garden by my driveway has our bachelor's buttons again. Their leaves are coming in nice, and we'll have some pretty purple flowers there. We have some tulips starting. Now this, I'm going to untangle it. It doesn't belong here. It belongs hanging up here. We're going to put it up here. Now I showed you these the other week, and these, they grow all the way up this metal trellis. They're brown at the top right now, but you can see these flowers are starting to grow up the fence that I've put here for them. See, they're coming in behind the fence. And they'll grow. There's a piece coming in right there. And they'll grow up that fence, those two beige pieces, and they will fill that in nicely. Now, I know I showed you the coral bells last week, and the coral bells have their pretty reddish green leaves coming in, and hopefully their flowers will come. This stem, hopefully, will come through later. I have some flowers there. Nothing coming up yet, but that's a summer flower. I'm going to show you our persimmons tree. It grows a little bit later. You can see it's starting to grow its little flower buds. It starts later than the apple trees. But this is also a fruit tree. It grows a small orangey red fruit in the fall, and all of its buds are starting to come in. And now the greenhouse. I know you want to see what's in there and see what's growing. You can see the moisture on the plastic. So let's go in and see what has changed in the greenhouse. You can see, oh, it's very hot in here. Right there we have lettuce. And the lettuce is coming in. And if we keep going further, we still have our cantaloupe here. See, the seeds are still covering on there. And we have our tomato plants here. These are all our Campari tomatoes that we're waiting for them to come in. We have some pepper plants coming in back here. Those are going to grow orange peppers. There's our sweet potatoes still growing. Underneath we have the marjoram finally coming in. And there's the dill that wasn't growing last week, but it is this week. We also have some more sweet basil coming in that wasn't here last week. We have some lettuce. These are these little green ones. Some more lettuce plants. We've got some bean plants coming in. A couple here. And there's more of our morning glory flowers. And more of the flowers there. So all of these plants are all coming in. And we still have others that haven't sprouted yet. Put more pepper seeds there. And this is flowers, but it's not up yet. It'll grow later. As you can see, all of our pots have something. We got our Thai basil coming in here, and here, and here, and there. So they're finally coming in. Let me pull that. That's a weed. And there's our sage plant has gotten a lot bigger. Our plant over there called tarragon is bigger. So all these plants have sprouted. We're still waiting. This is garlic. I planted some garlic bulbs and that's coming in too. And these are flowers. But this is all what's going on in the greenhouse.